Hello friends, wanna have some drink? I have old monk for you. So you are wondering why this old monk in my hand. So friends, actually today this will teach you about the anatomy or structure of the class. Okay, so suppose you have a scenario and you want, or you have been given that you need to develop a class for this object which will create this object. Okay, so as I had already told you that a class is a prototype, that is a blueprint for an object. So here is your object, you have been given your object, then how will you create the blueprint or the class, and what are needed to create that blueprint? Okay, so we will understand the structure of the class, that is anatomy of a class, in detail with this ROM. So let's start here. Anatomy of a class of a Java class. Anatomy means structure, that is structure of a Java class. Okay, so now let us think about this object again. Here we have our object old monk, 7 years blended, and some of 750 ml and also some alcohol content in it. So while designing a class, we need to think about two things of an object, that is state and behavior. So let me write it, then I will describe it later. While designing a class, we need to understand two things of object. We must keep in mind about the object. Keep in mind the object. First object, first state, second behavior. Okay, so while designing a class, we need to have two things in mind, that is of object. We must always have in our mind about the object. While designing a class, we have to concentrate on the object. We should know how our object will look, or what is how our object looks like. So here is our object. Okay, so we have to think about the state and behavior. So what state is this object, and what is the behavior of this object? State means how it is made up of. Suppose it is a bottle, the material of the bottle is a glass, and the name of the brand is Old Monk, and how many years it is blended, it is 7 years old blended, and what is the cost of this, and what is the alcohol content in this. Okay, so this is this defines the state, means what an object knows about it. States is what an object knows about it, and behavior is what an object does. Okay, so I think you have a clear mind about state and behavior. So let's see how state of an object is represented while designing a class, and the behavior of an object while designing a class. So in class, while designing a class, we have instance variables to represent the state of the object, and we have methods which represent the behavior, that is what object does. And I think you know what this object does, the hangover. Okay, so the two things which we have to keep in mind, that is state and behavior while designing a class. So this is important when here is suppose your class. So while designing a class, we have two things, that is instance variable and methods. Okay, two things. This instance variable, with the help of instance variables in class, we represent the state of an object, and with the help of methods we represent the behavior. So let's design the class for this. Here is our class public. Public means it is accessible to anyone, or it is accessible from anywhere. Public class, and class is the keyword which is used to tell the compiler that it is a class. And we have our class rum, and curly brace open and curly brace close. Okay, here we have public. Let it actually I am designing a class. I am not going to write here the main method, because I am not going to create as of now a Java application. I am designing a class. So actually we will be designing a class. So let's think of the instance variables. Instance variables are the fields represent the state of the object. So what is the state of this object? State means, suppose we have name, brand name. So brand name is always in a string, that is old monk, so it is string. So we will write string brand name. Okay, string brand name. And so here we have brand old man, brand old monk, and the numbers of years blended. We can also create a variable. It is integer because it is 7. So we will have an integer value here, integer number of blended years. We can have a price. So price should be double. So we will write double price. And let's say the alcohol content, which is very and let's say the alcohol content, which is very important. So alcohol content, that will be in percentage. So let it be integer as of now. So integer percentage of alcohol. Okay, so these 4 things represent the state of our object, that is old monk. And suppose we have a class, also we have a method which will represent the behavior, that is what it does, and you know what it does. So it does so let me write a method public void get hangover time. Get hangover time means it will give, this method will give us the hangover time of this old monk. So suppose the hangover time is 15 minutes, then let's print it. Here these represent the state of our rum object. So these are instance variables, these are fields, and these fields are instance variables. And this method which represent the, which gets the get hangover time, represent the behavior, represent the behavior. You can see here it represents the behavior of the object. Okay, so what are instance variables? Instance variables are simply the variables, that is the fields which are defined inside the class. They are not side method. Okay, so all the variables which are defined inside the class and outside of any method, outside of main method it may be, or any method, it may be main method, then they are called instance variables, except static variables, which we will deal in a different video. Okay, that's all for this video regarding anatomy of a class. In the next videos we will go and deep dive in the more of object oriented concepts. Okay, thank you for being with me.